Welcome back, everybody. You see what happens when we lose? Different characters show up. You get the unfiltered version of the Roundup. You get the guys that we stop being nice because we some good wholesome gentlemen up here. But today you gonna get raw, unfiltered. And fun, and you know what? I just thought about it. I cut my eyes over and looked at all of us on the screen. And don't take offense to this. You're going to get the Brodney of all of us today.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
You got to clear that kind of stuff before we go live.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Appreciate you. Brandon dropped the 10. He said, everybody got the effort mask on. Appreciate you, Bazzi. But again, welcome back to the Ravens Roundup. And again, we all, in some way, shape, or form, except Brandon, because we've talked about this before we came on camera. He's looking at his situation a little different. But he's going to bring the real, like he always do, from an outsider's point of view. And that's why he's here to give us that non-bias. Because sometimes we do have purple shades on sometimes. And he always gives us that outside point of view to kind of help us see stuff from a different point of view. But I think today is going to be one of them classic episodes where you get the real from everybody. And Chris is not here yet, but he is coming. So when Chris jumps in, he's just going to jump in on the conversation and go from there. So before we actually get to the game, how was everyone's week?
It was, it was going fine until fourth quarter.
Thanks.
Pretty much. My week was good up until about about 8:30 Saturday night. That's about the right time.
Yeah. Right.
When my college coach refused to take a knee and win the game.
Not my college coach.
We were all sick there. And see, look, me and B, like I said, like our dad is an Oregon fan, so we already knew about Crystal Ball way before he got to Miami. Weren't happy with that move either, but that right there, I don't care if you're a Miami fan or not. You gotta feel sick,
and I'm not.
You gotta feel sick for those players.
I feel jubilation. That actually made my week.
Oh man,
I'm telling you, not taking a knee and losing the game like that is. I've seen people get fired for less.
And he should have been fired. But that's a conversation for Hurricanes fans.
Hey,
he's
4 more years.
He's 4-1 right now. He's 4-1 right now. But I've seen people get fired for less. So I don't think he's gonna get fired for it. But
nah, he 0-1. Right
call Dion. Dion to come to Miami.
That'll never happen. That
would
never.
If they called Dion today, he'd be in Miami on Saturday.
Boy,
yeah.
Florida State would lose their marbles. They lose their mind.
I never watched college football again.
Y'all know I'm not a Dion fan, but I am fully on board with Coach Prime coming to Miami.
Nah.
And he bringing his own luggage
and his Louis.
We're not doing that.
Don't get scared now.
He would
First
definitely
of all,
bring that swag back.
First of all, I have nothing to be scared of. He's a loyal Florida State
You see,
alumni. He's
like,
not
this
coming to
this is
Miami.
all hypothetical. No chance it ever actually
Right.
happened. Hendo was
Exactly.
very upset.
Just the thought of it. I don't need my
His
people
whole
going down to that
whole
track.
demeanor changed.
But I had Bronny to thank for it because listen, I thought Miami won that game. I turned the TV off. I started watching Netflix or something, and then Bronny hit me up and was like, he needs to be fired. And I'm like, who?
I told him this at like 12:29 a.m. and at
Did-
12:29 a.m. the clip was posted in our Discord in the general channel.
I had to find out what was going on. Knowledge is power.
Crazy. Appreciate you, Big Daddy Raven. Big Daddy Raven said, what did he say? He said, y'all better give a certain position group a tongue lashing. Y'all also still taking Odell over D-Hop. Chill. Don't answer.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. Appreciate the 5. We'll get there when we get there. We're gonna get there when we get there. Apparently, Big Daddy Raven ain't tuning in at 5:30. Big Daddy Raven must have missed 5:30. So when we finish here, Big Daddy Raven, go back to the 5:30 show and check that one out too.
That comment in the chat is for you, Hendo.
Coach. I watched it twice.
Yeah, that was I couldn't. The film was I couldn't wait till my refresh. I was hitting the refresh button waiting to get that film. I had already did the thumbnail and everything. Just waiting on it. Waiting on it. The team, the flight to London was sponsored by Butterfinger. So, but let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started, I know we're not taking a shot today because we lost.
Hey, look, we
just
ain't gonna let the
salute.
Ravens spoil our fun.
We just salute.
I got you covered, Chris.
Salute.
And let's not forget the Ravens coaches never having a solution in game. Nothing.
Oh, I can do that too, Hendo.
Right. Nothing.
Let's not forget, you can get you one of these.
Oh, sure can.
Holla at me, Coach.
Sure
Brian,
can.
There you go.
Jose.
Sure can. If you
Hendo,
missed the
any
meetup,
of us.
you missed the meetup, and you
Yeah.
want you a roundup meet and greet shot glass, hit us up.
Yep.
Hit us up. The DMs are open for the shot glass.
Yeah.
For the shot glass. All right, let's start. Let's get started. Let's go to first off. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. I'll give a little run through real quick. T Sizzle, Rave Kingdom, Clot in the building, Bazel, then already donated. Pretty Girl TLB, Tasha Cure, Killer Cam, Pinellas, Israeli Phantom, I see you. Yolanda B. Let me give about 2 or 3 more. Miss Sandy, Eva Lamar, J6, Lunch Break Hot Take, who's on the screen. Matter of fact, everybody's channel is already linked. I ain't wait till the end of the show this time. I was proactive this time.
Yep.
I was proactive this time. Everybody's channel is already linked in the description. Go ahead and go down there, subscribe to everybody, get their numbers up, and do what you got to do. Because once we go doing it at the end, y'all, we go telling you where you can find us. Y'all go to leave.
Start dipping.
Just like y'all come to the barbecue, get a plate and leave. Y'all know how we that's what y'all be doing. So everybody's stuff is already there. Go ahead and do that. And then before we even give you what we're gonna give you today.
Coach, it's already 120 people in here. Let's get these likes up.
Get them up. And we get 25 likes, I give points. 50 likes, I give points. 75 likes, I give points. 100 likes, I give points. And I think yesterday's call-in show was the most points I've ever given. At one point, we had 280 something people on the show. So let's keep the momentum going. We are, I'm publicly stating it now. I'm pushing to get the 10K.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Pushing to get the 10K. And I can't do it without you guys help with sharing the stream and hitting the like button and watching the videos and all that good stuff. So I'm publicly enlisting you guys help to push me and get me the 10K. So that's it's out there now.
Yeah, I heard it.
It's out there.
I got jobs to do.
It's out there. So that's where we at. And again, let's get started. Let's talk about these. But Baltimore, I finna say Butterfingers again. Baltimore Ravens. And we're gonna start on the defense. And I'll start with the DBs. And I'll start, but for the most part, and I typed this earlier. I think it was on Twitter. Team defense, for the most part, was good. I didn't see a individual stand out to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as the secondary, I think everybody played okay except for the end. I think Marcus should not have played. I think Marcus yes, he played.
Yeah.
I think his tackling at the later on in the game hurt us because he was obviously favoring that shoulder or that pick or whatever. So I think he probably should have set out another week. I'm not saying he played bad, but I think he was favoring that shoulder, not being as aggressive as we needed him to be tackling Warren in the end. Because 22 didn't hurt us running the ball. Warren hurt us at the end. But as far as other DBs, and I think Marlon said it himself. I think Marlon said it. Somebody might have made this up. That he thought that blitzing in key situations, he thought that was gone with the old coordinator. Somebody might have just made that up. But they say Marlon said it. I don't know if he said it or not. But
I said it.
No, it might have been you, didn't though. It might have been you.
No, I said it.
But y'all go ahead.
That's an
take on the
interesting take because I was going to say I saw one guy who stood out in the secondary. It was very late in the game, going up against the inexperienced wide receiver, and he was supposed to be all pro. But you know, he does have a point. There is a point that you as the Ravens organization, you invest so heavily in the safety position, but ain't nobody playing safety when you need them.
Yeah.
But you know, outside of the play that lost the game, I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I don't even get on Marlon Humphrey that much. I mean, he's come off an injury, and you're playing one of the better wide receivers in the league, and we say it all the time. You know, a top wide receiver versus a top corner. You know, the wide receiver is going to win out more times than not.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, he pushed off a little bit.
He pushed off quite a bit.
Yeah.
All the
time. Who don't?
You know, he's not. Nah, I don't. You know, RTV says he's overrated in coverages. I don't think he's overrated, man. Like those type of things happen. I think he's very good. I think he's very good all around. You know, I mean, those things happen. Those things happen. I don't care who you are. You'll get beat.
A year where he didn't give up a touchdown, right? Like,
yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, listen. You finished, Jose?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they played well. All things considered, except for Brandon Stevens. He was getting cooked. Every third down play, he just got
listen, Dalton, you ain't gonna talk about Brandon Stevens. I put it in the Discord. You saw that list of the 2021 draft class. He's the best player out that class.
He may be. But I mean, even Brandon Stevens, listen, Brandon Stevens did what he could. I'm not taking anything away. I think they played decent. And as for Marlo, it's his first game back coming off an injury. It's late in the fourth quarter. I don't think that he actually has his sea legs underneath him. And y'all all world, all pro, all everything defensive coordinator left him out on the island.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that people don't realize, and I tell you this all the time, coach, your defense, well, a player can play well, but do they play well in key situations? Once again, the thing that we're overlooking, and I'm taking nothing away from this defense because they did everything that they could. They gave up another double-digit lead. And they gave up 200 yards in the second half versus a team that had not scored a touchdown in 9 quarters.
Can I rebuke that? Can I not rebuke that? Can I rebuttal that?
Go for what you know, coach.
Well, I ain't going hard. It's just the same way like last year. They did it a lot last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same theme as this year. The offense can't stay on the field. It's the same thing. The offense can't stay on the field and give them a rest or a break. I mean, they're still on the field when it happens. So not saying that, you know, they're physically on the field when it happens. But as a direct correlation, the offense ain't putting drives together so they can get a break and see what they doing to adjust to it. It's the offense ain't freaking helping them.
Can I rebuttal your rebuttal?
You sure can. That's what we're here for.
Where is most of our money and our draft picks allocated to? Defense.
Yeah, defense.
So I don't want to hear any excuses. Not saying to you, coach. I'm just saying, you know.
No,
there are gonna be people out there that are gonna have their things to say.
Because that didn't have anything to do with them being fatigued or anything like that. It was. I mean, look, Marlo got beat, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that'll happen. That's you know, it happens to
any DB gonna get beat at some point.
Right. Yeah, every single corner. But it was you, like you said, you're blitzing in a key situation, leaving them out on the island. You don't have your safety help out there, so it wasn't just, hey, man, we can't stay on the field. These guys got fatigued and eventually they broke. That was just a few bad decisions and going up against a playmaker in Pittsburgh, arguably the only one they had out there at the time, and you let him decide the game.
Yeah.
And listen, this is just crit. These are light critiques. All in all, the defense, they play lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing, Coach?
Go ahead.
So I was watching the game, and I saw Mike McDonald on the sideline, and he was feverishly looking through his book for a defensive play to call at the end of the game, and he said, "Bump it, let's go with the Miami Hurricanes play defensively."
Mike,
and leave the man wide open.
Your turn, Mike.
I'm with you, Coach. I'm not putting that on the defense. I mean, look, you want them to hold them there, but the offense did not help them out at all yesterday. They played well. They played great. I feel like for the most part, offense looked like they put them in places. One player though in that DB group that stood out to me at least early in the game was Millette. Like he was back to play his former team, and he was balling. Other than that, I'm with y'all. It's not one person that stood out, but he to me stood out at least early in the game. But yeah, I think they played good.
All right. 75 likes given. 75 likes given. Somebody just dropped a donation.
Chris White.
Salute.
I can hear that now. A little bit.
And coaches,
hold on. Is it? I'm listening to it. I'm sorry. Hold on. He just typed a paragraph. Hold on. Let me get to it. He said, Chris said, these fools really put Humphrey on the island fresh off an injury. And he has some emojis, and they can't say the emojis. He said they must be in extension negotiations. And I bet they are sitting Gus so they don't have to pay. We'll talk about Gus later, but
you know that.
I don't know what they was thinking about putting Humphreys on the island fresh off an injury. But I do want to show y'all this. I want to show everybody this because I put a thing again on Twitter about the draft from 2022, and it has Ojabo, and then it goes down to Pickens, and I kind of snippet at Pickens, and so everybody knows how I feel about Pickens being drafted after Ojabo. So so people say you always crying every time such and such and such. I just want to show people where I had George Pickens in that 2022 draft real quick. Just give me 1 second to show y'all this. So y'all won't think I'm shucking and jiving y'all and use an old school word. Just then I went back in the rollback on that one. I'm way back. Share whole screen, entire screen. So y'all won't think I'm playing. This is from 2022. Look who number one on that list. This is my list now. This ain't nobody else's list. This is my list from seeing my own 2 eyes and watch the tape. Look who I had on one on that list. This is why I go so hard every time he do stuff against us. I had him over the 2 guys that probably should have won Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. I still think he's gonna have a better career than them, but that's just me.
So you mean we could have got a real first round in the second round?
Yeah,
bro.
Because George Pickens was coming off an injury too.
I know.
Just like the same excuse they made for Ojabo possibly being the top 15 pick.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I think anybody on this panel was cool with Ojabo.
Not at all. Not at all. But you got to watch out for the Twitter people because for some reason, and this is not all of Ravens flock, for some reason, you can't be fans of other players outside of Baltimore. It's like if you say anything good about a player outside of Baltimore, you riding on them. Like, what?
Even if you're telling the truth, apparently.
Even if you tell it right. And this is how I can tell some people only watch the Ravens and are only fans of Ravens players. They don't know football and they don't watch football. Because when you watch college football, you have favorite players. And I guarantee you the top college football players are not coming to Baltimore because we're not drafting them. Unless they're a defensive tackle that we're going to take at number 3.
What good does it do now, Raven? What's up, Raven Ron? That's our guy, Raven Ron. Says, what good does it do now? Could have, should have drafted. We can't play the game, right? We're not coaches. We're talking about it. So what good does it do now? We get it off our chest.
Ron, when you place best, do you not go back and see the outcome of your best and try and get better for the future? You don't see where you maybe could improve, what best that you're constantly missing on, things like that. The Ravens,
they're
out here they're drafting poorly repeatedly. They need to go back and critique what they've done so that they can get better, so they don't keep making the same mistakes.
And this is how you evaluate your GM. This is how you evaluate your coaching staff, right? Like they have to get it right on these players. You have to get the right players, and you have to coach them up so they can perform in the games, right? Which is why I'm not giving any of them a pass. Like I know we had like 20 drop passes yesterday, right? But whose job is it to prepare them for these games? It's the coaching, right? At the end of the day, especially when we see this over and over, nobody here was surprised by that performance. Nobody. We're disgusted by it, but nobody's surprised by it. That's because Harbaugh doesn't get these guys ready, right? That's your job. And if you're not doing your job, I mean, that's what we evaluate you on, right? Those same way we're going to evaluate these wide receivers and say, oh, man, he's a bum. Oh, get this guy out of here. They can easily say, hey, why are you bringing up the pass?
Yep.
Right? Coulda, shoulda. I mean, we're on to London.
And to B's point, the B's point, when people make bets and they be like, oh, I should have put my money on this other team and I'd have won my parlay. I should have doubled down on Texas instead of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I should have took that one and I took this one. Should have.
Man.
If was everybody, a fifth.
Everybody does shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Right. So
ain't nothing new.
But
I'm very happy with the fact that Carolina gave up a ton of draft picks, their number one wide receiver, and moved up
number one running back.
So, hey, Rodney, did you see my message to you when I put my Thursday video in the Discord?
Awesome.
Did you watch it? I warned you.
I didn't watch it.
I did make some money.
Man,
you said I don't want to watch it.
I didn't know that dude. I did not know he was a difference maker like that. B.
What?
I promise you, I did. No, not McCaffrey. DJ Moore. I did not know he was a difference maker like that.
Coach,
I know now.
Because Carolina been dragging him down.
I know now.
Coach, that's another coulda, shoulda, woulda. The Ravens shoulda did. We should have drafted DJ Moore.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I mean, he was mad that he didn't get 4 touchdowns.
Right.
Greed, baby. Greed's a good thing.
I'm with Raven Ron. We don't need to talk about that. Let's move on to what next. So,
linebackers. Now, again, same thing with linebackers. Queen and Roquan had 18 tackles. Queen had a half a sack. Roquan made some devastating, tackles or whatnot. But again, they didn't have a huge imprint, but they played good team ball. And it seems like they didn't play well, but they just played whole as a collective. They ran to the ball. They made tackles when they were supposed to. Didn't really get exposed for the most part, except for Nelva. Really, just I can't wait till we finish with them so I can say the defensive drive summary. That's what's gonna blow everybody's mind. But they just play good team defense. They ain't really I know at one point myself I even said, "Is Patrick Queen playing?" Then I went to the stat sheet and the man had 6 tackles at the time.
Yeah,
and then I started seeing him make different plays, and shortly after he made a sack. But they didn't play. The Drescher didn't play bad. They just didn't. There was no impact play. And I hate to say this because I love Queen and Roquan, but after watching them 2 suckers last night,
you finally on board, Coach?
After watching them 2 suckers last night, this is my new list. Them 2 1, Queen and Roquan 2, and then we can start talking about everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, they were playing Dak though.
No.
Good point. But they still they look different. Them 2 cats look different.
Even in coverage.
I know.
In coverage.
Them 2 look different.
I've been trying to tell you.
They different, Coach, but
no, Mike, ain't no buts.
That front 4 they got in front of them, I feel like if you put that 4 in front of Roquan and them, they doing the same thing.
Yeah. Listen, I love Roquan. I love Roquan, but he can't cover. Not like that.
There's so many things that factor into how they perform, right? One, on offense, they put up points.
And they got 4 all-stars in front of them.
And they put the other team in a position where they had to be a little bit more one-dimensional, right? Because Dallas got behind, and it's like, hey, we gotta pass the ball now. We're falling too far behind, and they can play their game. They can drop back into coverage more, right? They can do whatever they want to do because they're kind of pushing them into what they want to do. You know.
Don't get me wrong, they some bad boys though.
Yes.
they bad boys for real.
Hey, B say, speaking about them drops, what about them donations? And what he
Dropping
mean is every
donations.
time there's a donation comes through, we get a drop in the tip cup up here.
That's
So
right.
every time somebody send a donation, some coins drop in this tip cup, and we're trying to get that tip cup full. That's what Brandon Bazell is talking about. I appreciate you, B, for dropping them 3 coins in the tip cup. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Talking about LBs. I'm sorry, I had to cut you off. I want to make sure I got Brandon's message out there.
Nah, I mean, I think you're right, Coach. I mean, I think up until the last, that fourth quarter, towards the end of the fourth quarter, like I think all around it was a, as a group effort, like Hendo said, it was all around group effort. It was good. It wasn't nothing that stood out, right? Nothing that was no turnovers, no, it wasn't anything like that. But they played good. Like I think the whole unit played that way. Nobody stood out, but it was a solid, good performance from them.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, B.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of the case for the whole defense. I mean, if we're being honest, we stretching out the first part of the show so we can get to an hour because we know we're here to talk about. And it's not the defense.
We do. We do. Because I honestly have the same thing for the D line too.
Yeah.
All right, we just clump them together then.
Okay. So same thing. D line for me too is
they're fine.
They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
Well, let me just get to this right here, and then we can speak on the whole defense, then move on. Their possessions and I'll put it up here so everybody can see it too. Their possessions. So these are the defensive possessions. This is how I know they play well. First drive punt, second drive punt, third drive punt. Gave up a field goal, halftime. Second half, punt, field goal, touchdown, field goal. Now, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 possessions, 4 scoring drives, 3 of them should have been field goals. You're supposed to win them games.
Yes.
You're supposed to win.
Your whole team is 17 points. You're supposed to win.
You're supposed to win. And you got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're supposed to win. And I'm not saying that as a slight to Lamar.
I also want to because I know we're about to. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but yes, 7 drop passes is a lot. But I remember a few years back when the Chiefs were in the playoffs playing the Texans, and they had like 5 drops in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was in Nashville when that happened.
The Texans were up big, and they came out in the second half and beat the brakes off the Texans.
Sure did.
Didn't matter how many drops they had; they lit it up anyway. All right.
Sure did.
Where's that fire for us?
Setting tone.
Yeah.
Anybody else want a smidge of defense?
I mean, it was solid. Everything they did was solid. Nothing super spectacular. I mean, they played a good game. They played a game well enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that in certain opportunities, plays weren't made.
Yeah.
But like I said, we should have won from their defensive performance. No standouts, nobody spectacular, but they didn't do anything to hurt us or put us in a deficit to lose the game. So
yeah. And Pickens just happened to make a crucial play at a crucial time.
Made like
and how many of those drives started due to turnover and put them in bad position field wise? So I mean, you got to consider those things. And the defense held where they could, but as an offense, you can't continue to put that group into bad positions. You can't put them you can't put them on the plus side of the field all the time or multiple times in the game, right? You tend to give something up. They look to hold the offense, from getting in the end zone. That's hard to do in itself. So you gotta kind of brace for that. Look, all right, man, they might catch us one time, and then you look at the Pickens play. Okay, boom, that's their 7, but you can't put them on the plus side of the field multiple times in the game and expect the defense to hold them the entire game. They did what they could, like Coach said, 3 field goals, right? Another team, some of these good teams that got, plus athletes or plus offense or plus offensive coordinator call the shots. You give them those type of opportunities, we gonna get our ass whipped in a game like that when you do that. So that's why I say salute to the defense and what they did yesterday. You look at, if it's up to me, you know, and we're gonna get to that, but it's up to me. This was solely on the shoulders of the offense, point blank. So
Facts. So before we switch to offense, everybody in the chat box, letter grade A through F for the defense. Everybody in the chat box, letter grade A through F for the defense. Malik, don't be giving no pluses and minus. Just letter. So
Hey,
you'll have A plus
And
plus
look,
plus.
almost 200 people in here. Hit that like button. Okay.
Hit that button. Hey, Coach, shout out to your man Patrick Queen.
What do you do? What you? There's a joke coming, or you?
Nah, I'm dead. It's like, listen, your man. I think, and shout out to him. You know, I give Patrick Queen grief because I say he's really sensitive, especially with social media. But good for him for standing up, saying, "I'm getting tired of this. It's the same stuff over and over again." And he's speaking his mind. He's not giving you that politically correct answer. Just saying, "Oh, we got to stack and get better in practice and do all these things." He's like, "No, this is getting sickening because it's a repetitive cycle that we just can't seem to get off." So shout out to him for speaking his mind, unlike some people on the defense.
All right.
No jokes.
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
What up?
Showed up just in time for the
What up,
offense.
fellas? My bad. Dropped the ball today.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, just take off and go to London. Just take off and go to London with the rest of them.
There you go. Don't bring up the past.
You sponsored by Butterfinger too. Hey, so honestly, we just finished defense. Do you want to hit it? Because we was just cutting it off. But if not, you can just join in on offense. It's up to you.
Let's go to the bad. Let's just go straight to the bad.
All right. So we'll mix this thing on up and save the topics of the show for the end of the show, because we mentioned how you know how some of us people will go to the barbecue, get our plate and leave. So we ain't gonna finish cooking the meat till the end of the show. We just not taking the meat out and thawing it out. So y'all gotta wait on your plate. You can go ahead and eat them sides and leave if you want to, but the meat ain't finished cooking yet. We'll start with man, you know what? There's a lot of meat. Offense period. What kind of meat you want?
You want to go back to the defense?
Let's start the running backs. We'll start the running backs. So who was active? Gus
and Justice.
And
is that it?
That's it. Those new teams
it had to been a third one.
it was Gordon, right? It was
No,
Gordon.
wasn't Gordon. Drake.
Drake London.
Right.
Did he get a carry?
Drake.
No, Gus and Justice.
Gus and Justice on one play. Other than Justice's fumble, I think he had a few blocking issues, but he ran the ball hard.
A few. Yes.
On his fumble, if he does not stumble after he makes the guy miss, he scores. When I watched the all 22 earlier, when he juked the guy and the defender comes from behind and punches the ball, if for some way he can outrun that guy or cut you from behind, nobody else is there. And then when I saw that on from the all 22 angle, that's probably what he saw and didn't even think about the guy behind him. When he made that guy miss, there was nothing but the goalpost. Nothing but the goalpost. So other than that, I mean, he ran hard. He just his pass pro got to be better. And without pass pro, he'll need to be out there.
You know what stood out to me more than that fumble for him? It's the last play of the game where Falele and Hill are trying to block TJ Watt, and he just splits both of them. And I'm just like, what happened to Gus? I need to know, was he hurt? What happened to where Justice Hill is there to try a chip block TJ Watt at the end of the game there?
Chip block?
Or double or double whatever.
I thought he was a made a D because he was like, To your seat, sir. Like he didn't touch him. How do you double team somebody and you miss him entirely?
You guys seen that video? The security trying to stop the students from coming on the field, and they're all standing like this, and they're just running them by the arms. That's how they look.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, listen, Gus, excellent. You know I'm a Gus fan, and I don't understand why we get to the goal line, short yardage situations, they take him out the game. But I saw this early on in the season when it started, when Justice got his 2 touchdowns rushing. I said, oh yeah, they're taking him out this offense. And Justice Hill is good every 3 games for a fumble. His pass blocking is not good, and it showed up. I mean, as a coach, you should put your best players in there, and they're not doing it, especially when you have Olay playing 1 tackle, because he's just in there like Olay, just letting everybody run back and forth. So you need backs in there that can actually pass block, and Justice Hill just ain't it. That's why I've never really been a fan of his.
The one thing about Justice, man, is weird. Ever since he hurt his toe, he looks more explosive than I've ever seen him. But
this is true.
But sadly, like when he caught that pass and he was running, I was bracing for I knew it was coming. I knew dude was gonna strip him and punch it out. And it's sad that as a Ravens fan, that's what we have to we had to brace ourselves for 1 or 2 of those a game at this point. But like you said, Coach, up until that point, man, I thought he was playing well. Gus was on the plus side of rushing the ball. I'm not sure what the breakdown is in snaps and carries. Because I just got
12 and 7. 12 and 7 for Gus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if they got Gus on the pitch count. I don't know if Gus still woozy from 2 weeks ago or whatever's going on, but I don't think they run it enough. And in games like this, divisional games, man, with Smash Mouth, we know how they gonna play. They know how we gonna play, and we know how they gonna play. It gets to a point in the game where we got to punch them in the mouth, and I think sometimes we get away from that, and it's shown so far this year. But I salute to those guys, man. I think the running back room is doing well. We just got to hold them to the ball, man. And Coach seems to love Justice. I don't know if he loves Justice or it's just look, we ain't got many others back there to to fill that spot. But he gonna find himself in that what's the guy we had that started the season and then
Tyson.
Yeah, he headed to Tyson's doghouse soon. He keep fumbling that rock. But overall, man, I think they I think the running back room solid.
I thought like the rest of you guys said, I thought outside of the fumble and the blocking, I thought they did well. It's just as far as playing purely running the ball. I thought they did well, but that's part of the game too. You got to hold on to the rock, and this was another pivotal fumble in a big time situation that kind of swung things the other way, and we can't have that. And it makes you think like, JK's healthy. Do they win these 2 games? I think they do. And
he's a difference maker. Yeah.
You watch somebody like that, and you could say like, yeah, Gus is fine, Justice Hill is fine. I think they're fine too, but it's levels to it. And when you have a dude like Justice Hill, he can just he erases those mistakes, and he can turn nothing to something with just his ability.
You got to have players that
You said Justice Hill. You meant JK. Right?
Oh yeah, JK definitely not Justice.
You got to have players that make you right. Like as a coach, what makes coaches look good is you got to have players that make you look right.
Yeah.
Even when you call a wrong play, you make a bonehead adjustment or whatnot, you giving the ball to a guy that's gonna make you look right. Those are difference makers in the league. You run stretch to the right, and they got all their good defensive players over there. Saquon can cut it back to the left and bust for 60. That dude just made you look right, and you can always say it was a bend play. You got to have dudes that make you look right. and we ain't with JK out. Lamar's probably the only guy we got on the roster that can make us as coaches. I'm saying us make us look right. We got good offensive players. We ain't got. Odell used to be one of those guys. He's obviously not that. And if Joy Porter said what they say he said to Odell,
I hope he said it.
I hope he did.
I hope he said it.
I personally
Do something about it.
I probably would have. I'd probably got 15.
You know Odell just want to dance.
I just
He ain't out there trying to fight nobody.
He just want to be a father, man.
Smoke would have been slapped after that interception. I'd have had the bitter beer face or something. Smoke would have been something.
Listen, I hope he said it. I need to see something from Odell. Okay, like I need to see some fire from this team. Okay, Steve Smith wouldn't have put up with that.
Ooh, no, he would not.
Steve Smith would have choked.
Steve Smith would have slapped him before he said it. Steve Smith
and then be like, "Now go tell your daddy."
You mean Rodney? You mean Ravens great Steve Smith?
Ravens legend Steve Smith.
Ravens legend.
A goddamn shame. Y'all should be embarrassed to say that. But the running backs are the running backs. Like they're not good, but they're not bad. Like they're just there. I personally, I don't think that they need to touch the ball anymore. They're not really going to do anything with it when they have it. So it's just kind of, like I said, they're just there. But like you said, Coach, the Ravens, and this is what we've been saying for years on this offense, they lack playmakers. And to Chris's point, yeah, J.K. Dobbins probably would have made a difference in these games, but that's because the Ravens play to win 7-6. Like Ron Rivera said when he was in Carolina, he wants to win the game 7-6. That's what John Harbaugh wants too, and that's why a running back like J.K. Dobbins can make the difference. If you would say, hey, you know what, I would like to maybe score more than a single touchdown, then it wouldn't matter if J.K. was there either, because you would have guys in those other positions who can actually make plays for you. Zay Flowers looks like he can be one of those guys, but I mean he's 5 games into his career. Right. So, he's not ready for them to rely on him yet. But the running backs, I mean, they were just there. They were there.
All right. Let's go on to the O-line. Initially watching the game, like watching the broadcast version, I'm like, O-line played okay. They ain't do too much. Lamar wasn't sacked. A whole bunch, but after thinking about it and then kind of watching how much Lamar had to dance and throw on a move and look over his shoulder and whatnot, they didn't play very good. And me and Jose was talking about something before we came on. If that happened, that may be one of the funniest things I've ever seen, if it happened. I ain't gonna speak on it yet. You can speak on it if you want to, but if that happened, that's going to be one of the funniest things I find.
I want to wait.
Play for play.
I want to wait. It was on the penalty. That's all I remember. It got called. It got called back. But I remember looking at the replay, and I'm like, I hope that isn't what I thought I saw. We'll look at the tape. We'll look at the tape.
Well, everybody else, what you think about the O-line?
I mean, listen, I will say this. I think that I'm pretty impressed because I think I'll have to go back and watch more closely to be sure, but I think I can say that Carolina's O-line was better this week. Maybe. I have to go back to confirm, but it's close.
That was a good one, though.
Listen, when I think of the Ravens O-line, I think of the New York subway. I think of the turnstiles and how everybody just jumps them. Just everybody just like, I'm not paying for this shit. Jump, jump, jump. And that's what they do. Like, listen, we have a problem. We have a major, major issue. Ronnie Stanley, I don't know if he's still injured. He's not playing well. You got John Simpson. He never should have been there in the first place. Lele out here pulling the Sam Darnold. He's seeing ghosts, hiking the ball. Kevin Zeitler, he's on the downside of his career, and we just don't know what the hell's going on the right side. We're in trouble. Like, unless we make some significant changes or we get healthy, we're in trouble. Because Lamar, listen, as good as Lamar is, he can't play like this. He can't play as soon as he takes his third step on his drop back, somebody's in his face hitting his arm. Because Justice Hill damn sure ain't gonna block nobody. So yeah, this offensive line is trash.
Hey, let me ask y'all something because I'm seeing this narrative grow on Ronnie Stanley. How do y'all feel about Ronnie Stanley? Do you think he's done? Do you think we need to look for a replacement?
I think he is seeing his better days.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good tackle, but I think a plan needs to start being in place to find his successor and move him to right or move him out.
You mean like Orlando Brown? That kind of plan, or
I mean like a younger, like getting ready to draft a guy to be the
replacement.
No, I mean like when he said, "Hey, trade me," you could have said, "Hey, yeah, we'll trade Ronnie and just move you to left, and then we'll find a right tackle."
Yeah, that plan,
I mean, this is a hard one. I mean, listen, I know Ronnie has not played a full season since he's been here, but he is one of the better left tackles that we've had in this franchise in a while. So we don't have anybody to replace him. We don't have a left guard to kind of take up the slack for what we may be lacking. So what do we do with Ronnie Villanueva? I don't know.
He ain't that bad.
Ain't nobody that bad.
He ain't that bad. Don't you bring that in here, Ricky Bobby.
Nah, but yeah, I don't like. But it's a conundrum. Like, what do we do? Because, like I said, we don't know if he's healthy or if he's listening to all the chatter, trying to rush back too fast because he's tired of people talking about him being injured. Like,
look,
he just doesn't look right.
I personally don't think he's done. I think his biggest issue has been this coaching staff and this training staff rushing him back. I don't think he's 100% just yet. I think, give him a couple of weeks to let him get his legs under him, and you'll see a different Ronnie Stanley. I think we're kind of rushing to get him up out of here because of his injury history. But this whole team got injury histories, right? I mean, Marcus Williams, how many games he play? You know what I'm saying? J.K. Dobbins, how many games he play? I mean, we can go down a list of all of our favorite players, and they miss significant amounts of time. So, we're saying get rid of Ronnie Stanley. I mean, there is no answer right now to replace him. I mean, we look at some of these other guys and say, hey, we'll be fine without this guy, right? But not left tackle. I mean, that's a hard position to replace. I'm not even 100% against it, but you better be all the way sure that this isn't a Trent Williams situation, where, hey, he just wasn't healthy. He needed to get healthy, and he's still the man. I make sure you do your due diligence before you get rid of him.
And I will say, and a couple of people are pointing out in the chat as well, Ravens fans, and not just Ravens fans, but I mean, we're talking Ravens. So Ravens fans have a tendency to really pick and choose who gets slapped with certain narratives, right?
Yeah.
We were just talking about Marlon Humphrey getting roasted for that touchdown by George Pickens. And the prevailing narrative was, man, it's his first game back, and George Pickens is really good. Yeah. Well, it's Ronnie's first game back, and Alex Highsmith is really good.
Yeah,
so
there is.
And we're judging it based off of what, like 6 quarters or something like that.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's quick. That's quick as hell to just be like, yeah, he's a bum.
Right.
Give him some time. Let's see what we got, and then maybe in like 4 weeks we could revisit it and see, all right, what does Ronnie really have left in the tank? You can't really tell off the first game back after another injury. And I'm not saying he's fully back because we haven't seen it, but I'm not saying he's a bum either because we haven't seen him get his legs under him yet. But like Jose said, those left tackles are very hard to find. We know that when they had to trade for Eugene Monroe back in the day.
Right.
We lived through those.
And I'm still grateful for that.
We lived through those James Hurst years, so we know how difficult it could be. But Falele, I want to apologize because I said I thought he could be the replacement for Morgan Moses. And what he did last week,
No.
what he did this week, no good. No good at all. Like, it's not even like you struggled a little bit. It was just like, have you practiced at all? And he looks heavier than he did at any point last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he can't move anymore. Or it's like he's just, I don't know, like he has like cinder blocks on his feet right now, and it's not good. It doesn't look good at all.
That's weird because that's what we were saying last year about Owe too, right?
Yeah,
maybe y'all should think about, I don't know, replacing some of the people who aren't on the field.
That, trust me, they're in this segment too. We normally forget about those guys. Not tonight. Not tonight.
I want to say this about Ronnie though. There was a play where he slammed, I think it was Highsmith, on his ass. So he showed that he has something. Now, listen, in any sport, if your wheels ain't good, it's not good for you, right? It's just not, it don't mix. So that's what we have to watch. Because obviously he's had ankle injuries and stuff like that. That's what they have to take a deep look into. It's never too early to look for a replacement. So I think they need to be doing that anyway. But I do agree it's too early to write him off right now. We'll see, man. Like Chris said, 4 weeks. We'll see. Like, yo, all right, man, look, your best spot is going to be on the right side or out of here. But we do know, as I say all the time, I know if I was driving Ferrari, I wouldn't want it touched. So we paid a lot of money for that one we got. So we have to protect him by any means necessary. So, there's going to have to be some soul searching. There's going to have to be some deep, take a deep look into, what we might need to fix up front. But I think it's too soon. Early in the game, I don't think they played that bad. I feel like Lamar had a clean pocket. He was able to make the throws that he wanted to make. We'll talk about what was happening on the backside of those passes later. But he looked pretty clean. He looked pretty comfortable. He didn't look flustered at least the early point. I would say first half of the game. Second half, late into the second half, that's when things got a little skittish. But yeah, we got to protect Date. So whatever that's going to be or whatever that may cost, that's what they got to be willing to pay.
And I want to bring something up real quick, just on the opposite end of the offensive line, and just talk about like how nice it must be to have a defensive player who can show up in big time situations. And it seems like TJ Watt, anytime they need a play, he just rises to the occasion every single time. And just it must be nice to have one of those dudes.
Like Game 6 Clay, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't had that in a minute.
And it's I didn't think about it that Chris just said. It's like he'll get pressures, he'll make a little on and off play. But if they even keep that son gun within 3 to 7 points, up or down, when you need him, he gonna make a sack, a TFL,
take overtime.
He gonna get an interception. He gonna do a cartwheel, kick the ball out the air to his brother. It's gonna bounce off him. He gonna catch it for a touchdown. He gonna make a play within 6 minutes to the end of the game. It's just always, never fails. And he on the defensive side. You expect that off, from an offensive player.
Let me ask y'all something real quick. Is he going to be have a better career than his brother?
No.
Somebody asked me that yesterday, and I was like, ugh.
How old is he?
28.
Them early injuries might get him. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
He's
about to turn 29, and actually tomorrow. Happy birthday, 2 days. Happy birthday, TJ.
Go to hell.
Yeah, I'm about to say we'll say that on
Screw that guy.
We'll say that on
Y'all bitter. That's sad.
Facts. You know we better.
I hope somebody drops your cake.
This comment right here is what got this. Peak JJ was insane.
Yes,
That is
yes.
facts.
And he won. What did he win? 3, I think it was, Defensive Player of the Year awards.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
TJ's great, but he's not that.
He's not on that level.
Yeah. So you want to? We good with O-line?
We not
good, but we're through with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
on to London. All right. Let's talk about it. The wide receiver crew. 9 drop, by my count, 9 drop passes. Everybody else somewhere between 8, 9, some people 10. Wide receiver crew. My count. This is my count. My personal count. Duvernay 1. Zay Flowers 3. Mark Andrews 2. Rashad Bateman 2. Nelson Aguilar 1. I got a total of 9. Everybody else I saw had like 7, and like the professionals had 7, but I personally got a count of 9 total. You can't win like that. It's inexcusable. And like I said on the show earlier, if we catch 5 of those balls, that game's a blowout. That game's it's a total blowout.
Catch 2 of them, it's a blowout.
Yeah. I was about to say any 5 of them, any 5 of those balls, that game's a blowout. But it's crazy. There was a stat from PFF Ravens that said no wide receivers for 2 teams hadn't dropped balls all year. It was 49ers, Ravens. And when it came out, I put the eyeball emoji on it. And, just retweeted it. And so at halftime, we had 5 drops. I went right back to that tweet. And I said, y'all did this. That jinxed us. That's crazy how that happened. But didn't see this coming, man. This is totally unacceptable. And you can't say heads got a roll because they went from not dropping the ball to dropping every darn thing. Now we going, good thing is they went straight to London today. So they had a chance to kind of get away from all the stuff we saying and everybody else for the most part, and be on a plane for however long it take to get over there, and do their thing in another country and try to get away from this loss, but then prepare for another team. His confidence gonna be back, even though they're professionals and they're supposed to be able to drop it and go on to the next thing. They're still human beings too. Is the room's confidence shot?
Yeah.
I think Bateman specifically is his confidence is just out the window right now. Like just on the field, not even talking about off the field, because like right after you get out the locker room, you deactivating your account. Like it's just like get it together. Like that's going to happen as a professional, where people just going to be on you all game. Like don't even log on. Don't look at it. Don't do any of that. You already know that there's going to be negativity there, so don't even give it any more ammunition. And I think you see him getting open, which is a good thing, because it'd be another thing if he were just getting plastered and wasn't getting open at all and just, look like hot garbage all around. But now you got to catch the ball. That's part of the job description. And right now he just doesn't have any confidence at all.
It's actually the main part, right?
Getting open is nice, but if you don't catch the ball, then getting open doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, shout out to Ted Ginn. No, they were awful. Obviously, Odell has provided nothing since he's been in Baltimore. Bateman, like you said, Chris, either it's the confidence is completely gone, or he's just not the player that we thought he was. But he's not contributing at all right now. Zay, he didn't have a good game, but at least he made some catches and produced a bit, and I think he's going to be fine. we all know Mark Andrews doesn't like catching the ball in the end zone. That wasn't a big surprise.
Handitis.
And Nelson Aguilar. That one was unfortunate, but you expect that with Nelson from time to time as well. So I think the main issue really is Odell and Bateman, and you gotta. We're not in the locker room, obviously. We're not at the practices, and we're not spending every day with them. I mean, the coaching staff has to be able to discern whether or not those guys are starting slow or coming back slowly from the injury, still getting ramped up, or if they just don't have it. Because if they just don't have it, then you have to make a move. But we'll see.
Yeah.
How's that?
My bad, Coach. I told you I watched that video you did earlier twice today.
Mm-hmm.
That drop from Mark Andrews was not meant for Mark Andrews. If you're going to be a touchdown vulture, right, you need to catch the ball.
You better vulture the goddamn touchdown.
Right.
Yes. I'm so sick of this, man. All right. I'm so sick of Mark Andrews, man. And this is another situation where, we were hoping, maybe Isaiah Likely. Maybe. No, Mark can't go anywhere. Like, we don't have any replacement for him. He's just going to be Mark, and we have to deal with it. Bateman, no. You asked, does this wide receiver room still have confidence? No, I don't think they have confidence. I think two wide receivers have confidence. I think Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar, because Nelson Aguilar is used to dropping balls. That doesn't faze him at all. Damn, he's the only one. He's the only one that went up to Lamar afterwards, like, my bad, dog. Next one. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Right? And like, yeah, we good. Right? But they're the only ones that aren't sulking after a drop pass. The rest of them they're shell shocked, right? But that goes to coaching. And I want, we'll talk about the coach in a little bit, because that's who I ultimately blame for this whole mindset with this wide receiver room, the whole culture there with the Ravens. That all falls on John Harbaugh. All right. But look, man, it's just, what can you say? You have 9 drop passes. And one of them that you pointed out that I didn't really put it on Bateman, but when you pointed out, if he just kept running instead of turning around and slowing down, he could have caught it in stride. That could have went for a touchdown as well. These guys
counseling.
Yeah, they just have to do better. Look, you're not going to get any help from Harbaugh and company with the play calling. You're just going to have to make the most of your opportunities. That's just what it comes down to. You're not going to get that many. You got to make the most of them.
Yeah, listen, I couldn't wait to talk about this group. Like, I had so many things running through my head all day long. I lost some of the thoughts, but the thing, I'm a little ticked off, disappointed. I'm really angry because of these wide receivers. Now they allow the narrative to be pushed even further. Was it ESPN that had that joint about Lamar talk about are they getting their money's worth from him?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right.
You know who it was.
Yeah, anybody know who it was. But they allowed these things to happen because Lamar hit them, Nelson Aguilar, on the run, right in his hands. But the thing that upsets me is, and this is Ravens flock that upset me, because I remember a couple years ago, Hollywood Brown dropped 3 passes. They cooked him for the rest of the year saying he couldn't catch. Zay Flowers dropped 3 passes. Potential touchdown. He's been dropping passes all year round. I don't hear nobody saying anything about Zay Flowers. Nelson Aguilar. We knew we was getting with him. We knew we were getting Odell Beckham Jr. We tried to tell you.
Though.
He did. We tried to tell you. Me and Jose said, listen, go out there and get yourself DeAndre Hopkins. Just because you have Odell, get DeAndre Hopkins. We don't know if Odell's going to be healthy. We don't know if Bateman's going to be healthy. We just really don't know. Get yourself a backup plan. But what did y'all say? No, if we go get DeAndre Hopkins, we're taking snaps away from Bateman.
How are we going to get it to 5 first-round receivers?
Right. Bateman's playing in the game. He's not getting any catches. And for some reason, all of these Ravens prognosticators and publications, they seem to talk about Bateman dropping that touchdown, but a lot of them keep leaving out that Mark Andrews dropped that touchdown too. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's a black and white thing, but they just keep leaving out Mark Andrews dropped the touchdown. But you know who wouldn't have dropped the touchdown, Coach? Vokalek.
Put the corn in the chat.
Point him over.
Yeah, man. Listen,
Collect,
and don't get me started.
Bo Collect don't drop nothing.
Bo Collect don't drop nothing. Don't get me started by
exactly
about Harry Houdini, Isaiah Likely. Did he play yesterday?
Who that?
Right.
Who that?
And your boy, and then y'all other savior, Charlie Kolar. He wasn't even active for the game.
Healthy scratch.
But these are the guys. These are the guys.
Yeah.
That y'all been going to bat for when we say we want to get proven wide receivers out there, guys that we know can play. And I'm praying, knock on wood, please don't let it happen. We play DeAndre Hopkins next week. We had all of this smoke for George Pickens. He beat us. Don't let this happen up in London with DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has 350-some yards this year already by himself. We ain't got that over here.
Did you guys talk about Pickens yet? And like,
you already know I did.
Do you think, bro? Yeah, we did.
I did. Because it's just like the people who just don't want to give him credit and say that he's a good football player.
Chris, I went back and showed them my top 10 receivers list from I still had the graphic on my computer. I don't know if you remember that, but Pickens was my number one above.
I do remember that. Yeah,
above all them guys. He was Olave, Wilson. Who else was
Drake London.
Ohio State, Drake London. I had Pickens above all them, so I went back and showed them all that. Cause I don't want them to think I just be on, going crazy about Pickens because I think because with the Steelers. No, certified dog. And seen it with my own two eyes before he even got to Georgia and whatnot. But like Kendo said, they forgot he was hurt his last year too.
Exactly. If he's not hurt, he's a first round pick. Mm-hmm. Probably after his freshman year, he could have been a first round pick. But since he's a Steeler, it's like you can't say he's good.
Right.
That's exactly what Hendo said earlier.
And it's crazy to me that people would just be like, well, look at this. Look, all he does is push off. And it's like, well, he's not getting called for it. How many OPIs does he have in his career? I think he had one last year. And because he does it in practice, like that's when you're supposed to do it, to see what you could get away with in practice. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, to me, it's crazy that people just be like, no, he's not good, or he does his push off. And it's like, no, you could admit that he's good. Like you could admit that he's been a good player in a terrible offense and in a terrible offensive scheme that just tells him to just run 9 routes for the most part.
And every great wide receiver of all time pushes off constantly.
If they're not calling it, do it.
Yeah.
And what is Ojabo doing for us?
I was about to say, check this one stat: games played. let's do that. Games played. Let's check that stat.
Every other day, Ravens fans want to talk about the best ability is availability, right? None of y'all stars are very available.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait. Who called him a star?
I mean, listen, you draft him in
he's talking about
it should be, right?
Well, last person he said was Ojabo. Then he came out with star.
Well, listen, Ojabo got two sacks on 100.
I heard he was a top 15 prospect, Coach. What you mean?
He said he the man.
You didn't get ever see the talent.
By the way, Matt Judon has 4 sacks through 4 or 5 games. Matt Judon, the guy that we said we didn't need because he couldn't get sacks. Remember that? Hey, he's pretty good. He doesn't get enough sacks.
But that's a clown ass franchise over there getting their edge rusher sacks. That's why Belichick about to get fired.
12.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks, 4 sacks. He's going to go over 10 sacks again this year. Just want you.
I thought he was out. I think he got hurt.
He is.
I don't know.
And that's even worse.
He got 4 sacks.
He missed the last game, and that's even worse.
Well, nobody want to get pressure with 4.
Right.
Well,
who'd you think?
Look, man, my young boy hurt my heart so much I grew hair overnight. I was on this very show last week, and I said, guys, I think we found one. Zay Flowers. And I ain't giving up on the young boy, but man, he had he had a bad game, bro. Like I was surprised. If it was one person, I was surprised him, because he's been the one guy that we could count on this year. And yeah, He just had. I don't know where they were mentally, man. I don't know if they, no offense, but my brother lives in Pittsburgh. There ain't shit to do up there. So I don't know if they was partying or whatever the night before.
Drinking.
But shoot,
Yeah.
but yeah, they I don't that whole room, that wide receiver room was not there. But I agree with you, Chris. Bateman, we gotta watch out for him because like he got the Markel Fultz yips right now.
Yeah.
Like and
Oh yeah, basketball. Yeah.
yeah.
And Markel and whatnot.
But he's I mean the way he was slapping the ground after dropping that, bro, like that's how like, all right, my man ain't right in the mind right now. His confidence is shot. Mark Andrews. The one thing that pissed me off about Mark Andrews, like he dropped that touchdown pass, but later in the game, like he made like a one-hand grab. And I'm like, yo, he'll drop some shit that hit him right in both hands, but he'll then make a catch like that. I was watching the game with somebody, and he was like, man, is Mark Andrews? He's from Texas. He like Mark Andrews like that, and I'm like, yeah, he ain't. But what you hearing, he ain't that. Like he's hearing from over there that this is quite possibly the best tight end. Nah, no, he ain't nowhere near. I give him top 3 to 4, whatever. But that drop off from 1 to wherever he is very far. But we need more consistency. I'm not ready to shoot this group yet. But we can't afford no games like that. We can't afford no games like that. It's just not with. And I know we expect it out of Nelson sometimes, but even him, you can't do that, bro. You you can't do that. Like you said, Zay, he was the one that was least upset. He dropped it and was like,
But you know, because he caught his other 4 though.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, "I'm still doing better than the rest of these bums."
That's exactly what he said. He said, "Don't worry, I'll get the next one."
Right.
Yeah, that was just a poor display, man, of an offensive group.
Honestly, though,
no way to shake that.
Honestly, though, I rather see that attitude that Aguilar had with the rest of them. Right? You drop a pass, make it up.
Right. You gotta move on to the next. That's what I'm saying. The way that Bateman was pounding on the ground like a 5-year-old, that told me that he mentally he's not on the football field. He's not in the right mind to be out there. And I pray for the brother. I hope that he gets it because obviously, man, you see the talent. He has talent, but he got to figure it out. And I don't know if this is the coaching staff that'll help him get out of his mind and get out of his own head. But yeah, we can't have those performances from that group. We cannot.
Hey, coach, you know what the problem is, right?
What's that?
They catching rugby balls instead of footballs in practice.
Yeah. Get out of here, man. That man ain't no that dude. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, man.
Rex Ryan with them big ass choppers.
Every time I hear him on TV, I'm like, "Are you sure he was a coach?"
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with nothing, man. Nothing to do with nothing.
He's like, look at his hands. His hands are like he was catching the rugby ball instead of a football. That's why he dropped it. Okay.
You got to be the stupidest. Hey, see, that's what happens when your last name gets you in the door before what you know.
Nepotism.
That's what happened. That's what happens right there. Your last name gets you in the door before what you know. Stupidism.
If I want an expert on foot fetishes, then I'm gonna go to
He'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go along to the start of the show. Lamar Action Jackson. Passed the ball 38 times. And give or take 1 or 2 for me. passed it 38 times. I think he had 34 to 35 on point throws.
Mm-hmm.
I think he played a heck of a football game, a game that he should have won and should have had some almost the Colts game from a couple years ago type numbers. One of his most efficient games that I've seen him play. I was thoroughly impressed with his pocket presence, and other than being strip sacked, that ain't his fault to me.
Right.
One of the flawless games I've seen Lamar play. Even the result ain't what we want. He was on his game to me. That's what I saw from him.
He should have been on the bench in the third quarter if they catch the ball. If that's how locked in he was in this game, and it looked easy. It didn't look like there was much resistance for him. Like he was in the pocket just chilling, scanning, picking them apart, and these dudes just could not help him one bit. And it sucks to see such a great performance on the road against your division rival go to waste, because that's exactly what happened. I had one of my friends, he's not a Ravens fan. He's just looking at fantasy football. He's like, "What's up with Lamar?" I'm like, "It's not Lamar. I get why you saying it, because you're just looking at the numbers, but it is not Lamar. Like it's so many drops going on right now, mental errors too. Like that mental blunder with Zay right before the interception. That should not be happening. That should not be happening. Right. And you could tell that pissed Lamar off. Like he got visibly upset, and we don't see Lamar get upset that many times. He was visibly upset, and you kind of see him catch himself and then put his arm around Zay and like try to talk him through it. But like, man, like you got to be on point. Like if this dude is locked in playing at this kind of level, MVP level type game, in my opinion, you got to do your job, and which I think is the bare minimum of catching the ball when you're a wide receiver,
especially when you open. especially when it ain't many people around you. Like you got to catch the ball. But Chris, you said 3 key letters: MVP, and I think this game, if they would have did what they were supposed to, this would have catapulted him to the early forefront of the MVP lead. I think, because just like you said, and we talked about it last week, there's something different about Lamar this year. Even with the offensive line woes and stuff like that, he's looking super comfortable in the pocket. He's looking in control. He's literally making all the throws. He's picking the defense apart. He's taking what's there, and then even when it's not there, he's making, as we saw the throw last week in the back of the end zone. He's making plays. Like I ate. I don't know where it's come from, but I love to see it. Just how comfortable he seems and how in control he seems to be. It's a shame that these things gotta happen, man. Especially from your new playmakers. Zay Flowers. Another thing he did, he did the Randy Moss throw my hand up. I'm open, and Lamar hits you and you stumble on your own feet. Like it was just one of those days. And I was looking at your tweets, Chris, and you like, yeah, man, it's got to feel like this got to feel in the Colts game. And as the game went on, it just slowly started to have that feel. But eight played magnificent to me. I would like to have I see different opinions on the OBJ throw. I would like to obviously have that one back, but there's a couple different things. People saying miscommunication, people saying it was a bad pass, whatever you want to look at it. Obviously, you want that back. I would like to see him feel the pressure just a little bit better. I think if there's one thing he can continue to work on and get better at, I think sometimes he doesn't feel that pressure, or he just assumes that it ain't there. So, that's what leads to the ball being knocked out of his hand and things, so on and so forth. But as you alluded to, Coach, In a lot of those situations, that's not on him because he needs at least 2. Give me 2 seconds, bro. Let me get 3 steps so I can at least. I need you to give me that at least, right? And in those cases, he not getting that. But man, overall, 8 is playing on a different level right now, and I truly feel that game, the way it was headed, how many touchdowns he should have had.
Mm-hmm.
It was about to catapult him into the forefront of the early MVP race.
Which is unfortunate because I am not here for Brock Purdy holding up an MVP trophy. So somebody
got to step up.
But no,
it's gotta be frustrating.
Yeah, but I guess I thought Lamar, outside of the interception, obviously, I thought Lamar was great in this game, and was thoroughly let down by his teammates.
I mean, look, for Lamar, like watching your peers get all this talent around them, all these weapons, and just flourish, and you're just hoping that Odell can catch more than one ball before he comes out the game, right? Before he has to get subbed out. Hoping that Zay Flowers can put it all together so he can be that weapon that you need him to be, right? I mean, I'm looking at these quarterbacks. I mean, Tua has 13 touchdown passes. Do we think Tua is better than Lamar? I don't.
Not at all.
But he's got Tyreek Hill who teleports all over the field. Right? I mean, I'm looking at some of the highlights of him from this year. He's just throwing up in the air, and Tyreek Hill comes down with it. Lamar's never been able to have that kind of player on his team, and he's going into his second contract. It's time, right? Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. I mean, you got guys like Kirk Cousins who he doesn't deserve Jefferson, right? Or Addison, or
even Osborne.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned Brock Purdy. I mean, like the list goes on and on. Like all these quarterbacks that we're talking about that I mentioned as being up there, even Herbert. Even though Mike Williams went down, he still got Keenan Allen.
And the receiver they drafted in the first,
Quentin Johnson,
and Austin Eckler. Right, all these guys have weapons. Who does Lamar have? Right, people mention Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews ain't really like that. I mean, and you play a game like that, and it's just like I'm literally putting the ball in your hands, and you can't hold on to it. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, you got to be mentally strong if you're Lamar at this point. You got to be mentally strong to not check out because. I'm looking at the stats: 4 touchdown passes. He should have at least 8 or 9 touchdown passes right now.
Yep. Yeah. So for me, it's a little bit of disappointment there. Now, everything you gentlemen said are correct. Coach, you said early in your video, without those drops, Lamar is 31 for 38, over 400 yards, several touchdown passes. At first, I was a little disappointed in the interception throw. Not because he threw the interception in the end zone, because the fact of the matter was he was trying to force it to OBJ. And then I started thinking, I was like, he's not forcing it to OBJ because that's his buddy. He's trying to get him involved in the offense. Then I started thinking, this is on coaching. If the coaches would have gotten the offense up to snuff and got Odell involved early in the season, Lamar wouldn't be trying to force passes to him in the end zone. Also, if they'd have rode the hot hand and ran the ball, they wouldn't have put Lamar in that situation. So Lamar's doing everything he can to keep this team afloat. Once for the 6th season in a row, he has to play Superman. He has to do everything on his own. And one thing that I was really, really proud of with Lamar is he was second in the NFL in completion percentage at 74%. Like everybody talk about he can't throw, he can't do this. 74% of his throws he was completing. And that's with mid to average wide receivers. So somebody in the chat said, I thought we would resolve these wide receiver issues. We didn't. And we knew this during the offseason. We knew everything that they were doing was a bet. Like it was a gamble. It was a chance. We knew that we may have something or we may not. And Lamar's doing everything that he can. And unfortunately, every mistake that he has is magnified tenfold without the help around him, especially from the coaching. And we'll get into that next.
Yeah. Chris?
I went already.
He started.
Well, that's where we at. And Hendo kind of spoke on it earlier. These are Lamar's numbers, his official numbers for yesterday. 22 for 38, 236 yards. Those are his real life numbers. And with me going through and adding up the drops from my point of view, which were 9, and putting in the yards where the ball should have been caught, not saying that they got any yak after they caught the ball. This is what it could have been. 31 for 38, 404 yards. And not saying they would have scored on some of those balls, but I know Aguilar probably would have scored.
Well, one at least.
At least one. He could have had over 404 yards, at least maybe another 40 yards behind it. Could have had a killer day. So one of Lamar's better days passing, but the wide receiver group let him down completely. And my question to everybody, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, is can they bounce back and just shake the whole thing off? That's my closing question to everybody.
I think they can. I think when the schedule came out, we all looked at this game coming up in London and were like, oh man, here we go. We got PTSD from that Jags London game. But I think going to London at this time is probably the best thing for them right now, to just be away and be in another country and not have to listen to Rex Ryan and his novelty teeth talking about a rugby ball. And we have the early stages of the season, to show that this hasn't been a problem all year, and we have those games to go by, and maybe this is just a blip on the radar. I mean, hopefully it was just a blip on the radar. Are they going to be perfect going forward? Of course not. Like, it's football. But I don't think that this game is going to be the norm. I don't think this game is going to be the 2019 wide receiving core where you have, Willie Snead, you got, Chris Moore, those type of dudes. I think this core is better than them. And I think they can have a bounce back. And also the Titans secondary, that's a perfect bounce back game because they have one of the worst secondaries in the league. So I think they can bounce back. I'm hopeful they can bounce back. But I'm worried about Bateman the most out of all of them, like I said earlier.
Yeah, I think they will bounce back. I mean, but this is the issue I have with hardball teams is that, the games that we should clearly win, we play like this, right? And then when we're having doubts about this team, we're not sure what they're going to look like. That's when they make their run and they start to click a little bit. And, that's all fine until we get to the playoffs because, it's a trend his whole career where we're the underdogs. We rise to the occasion and, we play outside of ourselves on paper, at least. But if we get into playoffs in that first round, it's a team that we're supposed to dominate, we lose.
Yeah.
So that's my frustration with this. We're a few weeks out from playing San Francisco. I think we're going to beat San Francisco, right? Like those are the type of games that we win. More times than not, those big games against those top teams, we beat those teams, right? Especially with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't lose that much, but it's these games that bother me. It's this game like yesterday that keeps the Steelers around in the division, right? We should be clear ahead in the division. Now they're first.
Yeah, like Jose said, listen, the game like yesterday are games we're supposed to win. So can we get it together? Of course we can. We're a professional team. We have a former unanimous league MVP leading the team. But as of games like yesterday, I think a lot of us coming into the season, when we looked at the schedule, we thought that we would possibly be 5-0 right now. No one thought we were going to lose to the Colts. Maybe to the Pittsburgh, but we didn't really think so. And I think coming up, the London game is a trap game to me. I've thought all off season, listen, we don't do well in London, and intentionally they put the Tennessee Titans, a team that no matter how good or bad they are, we struggle against. If I see Derrick Henry throw another touchdown against us, I'm going to lose my mind. Then after we come back from London, the Ravens decided not to take their bye week, and we got the Detroit Lions. These are not the same 31st ranked Detroit Lions of old. These are the new Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I hope we get it together, and I hope our focus is right, because if we're not on point, we could lose these next 2 games. And then what?
We'll have problems.
I think they're going to bounce back. And this is always a problem with John Harbaugh coach teams. And you know, they're 3-2 right now. It's a huge deal. We can all see the issues with the roster. Hendo, I don't share the same reverence for the Detroit Lions that you do. So I'm looking at their schedule, and you got Tennessee, Detroit, Arizona, Seattle, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and the Chargers. They could win their next 7. In theory, like they should beat most of those teams. You know, maybe Cincinnati is back. You know, they looked a little bit like that this week, but the Ravens will go on a run because they have Lamar Jackson, because those receivers will bounce back a bit. They'll get healthier. So they'll go on a run. And then towards the end of the season, Ravens fans will be saying, yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with the team. And then when they get to the playoffs, if they go out again, it'll be, well, why Lamar ain't winning these games? Like it always is. Right. And then they'll hit the offseason and it'll be like, man, who's that top edge rusher in the draft? Who's that number 1 corner in the draft? And the cycle will repeat itself again. And this has always been a thing with the Ravens. It's just like, man, if you would just pull your head out of your ass long enough to build around Lamar Jackson, the rest would take care of itself. But they can't do it. They refuse to do it. I mean, who says outside of Carolina, who says I've got my franchise quarterback, I'm not going to protect him? I've got my franchise quarterback. I'm gonna draft not even the best defensive tackle because Chris Jones is on the board, but I'm gonna draft Vernon Butler, over a weapon for my quarterback. The Baltimore Ravens do, right? When I look at these two, they mirror each other in their stupidity. And if the Ravens would wake up one offseason, because you're sitting there. And like Hendo said, everything they did this offseason was a bet. And we were like, hey, if Odell is healthy, that's a good signing. If Bateman stays healthy, we think he can play. If Zay Flowers pans out, good pick. But DeAndre Hopkins was sitting there for free, and you didn't take him. You had now Dalvin Cook has, he's not playing very well in New York right now, but you had Dalvin.
He ain't playing at all, though.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor was available. Austin Eckler was available. Saquon Barkley potentially was available. Josh Jacobs was potentially available. You're a team who wants to run more than anything. And you're like, we don't need a good running back. For what? We got Gus and his 4 yards a carry on 12 carries.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? Hey, you know what? I know that we haven't really replaced Orlando Brown since he's been gone, and we haven't effectively done that. I know that Zeitler is declining. I know that we have a huge question mark at left guard. I don't think we really need to address that though. Give me a fifth edge who's not going to play. Give me another inside linebacker who will never see the field because we have 4 guys ahead of him.
But we got Voorhees.
Yes,
he's the third tackle next year.
We did draft that offensive lineman who's been injured every day of his life.
Y'all put more
a late day 3 pick, even healthy.
Y'all put more faith in Voorhees than you do in Ronnie Stanley.
That's terrible.
But you know why? And this is Ravens fans all the way through because they haven't seen him. Yeah, that's all. It's the same reason, and I'm sorry, Coach, but it's the same reason they had so much faith in James Prochet. They didn't see enough of him, so they said, "Hey, he must be good. He's on an NFL team, right? Yeah. Just get him out there. Let him do his
opportunity."
The same thing with Ben. Well, don't get personal.
Hey, Coach, say what you said earlier.
What? For Duvernay?
Yeah.
Oh, I said Duvernay is a fast James Prochet. That's it.
That's not nice. No, no. You're not gonna just drop that and then walk away. Like that's cool. Duvernay has made actual real life plays in real life NFL games. James Prochet ain't done shit.
He had 7 for 74 versus Denver.
James Prochet
what have you done for me lately?
James Prochet wasn't separating in college.
James Prochet ran real routes in college.
Oh, did
They
Yeah.
used him properly.
How come the corner was always right next to him
He was chasing him.
in his hip pocket?
It was holding them.
Right.
Like Devin Duvernay are all pro. James Prochet is not a pro.
Returner.
I don't care what he is.
Years
I don't care
ago.
what it is. James Prochet ain't a pro. Period.
He's a professional.
Who's he play for? Who's he play for? Professional
hoodie salesman.
Not anymore.
Channel 3 hoodies.
I heard those are knockoffs. Like he's not. James Prochet's not a professional athlete. So
he just pro.
You gotta check like one for a few years.
Well, great way to work Prochet back into the show, people.
Chris, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, no, like what B was saying with like how Voorhees, you know, that's because I started working on offensive guards this year, and I was writing it up, and I was like, I know people are gonna think Voorhees is the answer because Simpson and Zeitler are gonna be free agents after this year, unrestricted free agents, and I know people are just gonna want to slot Voorhees in because that's just how that works. You know, and it's the same thing with Ben Cleveland. When they drafted him, people saw the pictures of him and they were like, oh, this dude, you know, he's going to be it. You know, he's going to be the next great guard. And it's like, you got to watch him. You know, it is like there's context to these picks and these prospects. Like you could like them all you want, but they're like, so you just want to pencil in a dude who's been injured all 10 years he was at USC and you want to count on that dude being your starter going into 2024. Like, I don't think this team can do that. You know, like with their track record, you can't do that anymore. I don't want anybody that's been injured before. Like that, just get out of that mindset because it has not been working for you at all. Even when you draft dudes that are healthy, they've been getting injured. So just nobody that's even had a splinter before. That's it.
Wait till that John Simpson extension comes in about 3-4 weeks. It'll be so excited.
Oh man, I cannot wait until next week when, you know, after all the Ravens fans who are here not watching the game get to see Marcus Peters break up that pass to Christian Watson that got tipped up in the air for an interception. That's going to be a fun show dealing with those comments.
Yeah, Marcus.
All right. That's all I got for you, people.
You ain't talking about the coaches?
Oh, no, that ain't all.
We kind of worked them in.
I bet.
Well, I got a question. I have a question for y'all.
Go ahead.
And I've heard people say this on Twitter, and Coach, I heard you say this earlier about Jonathan Harbaugh, where you said, you know, John Harbaugh didn't throw that pass. He didn't fumble that ball. So my question to you all is, why is it when this offense isn't doing what it's supposed to do, when we don't come into games prepared, it's always Coach John Harbaugh isn't the one out there not scoring points and doing what he's supposed to do. But when you take a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have an inept offense that score and win games, we give Mike Tomlin all the credit for what this team did. Why is it two polar opposites? Where one can kind of reap the benefits of all the good, but when it comes to the bad portions, we kind of swipe it under the rug and say it ain't his fault. Well, it is his fault. Your offensive coordinator calling these plays. You are in on the personnel decisions to bring these players in. So I do think John Harbaugh has a lot of the blame humped on his shoulders.
Yeah. So look, if we're looking at it in a vacuum, right?
I do root for Tomlin, Jeremiah. I do root for him. And what?
Yeah.
You keep coming in here with this bull. And what? I do root for the Black man.
Like to hear it,
oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm only supposed to root for one person and one team.
To rewatch that part, that joke was perfect.
Grow the hell up. Grow up, man.
That was perfect.
Jeremiah just come with that bullshit.
If you look at it in a vacuum, right? Yes, you could look at it and say, "Hey, man, like these players, you know, they weren't on their game today." But this is consistent with Harbaugh throughout his career, right? That's why I don't give him a pass. And more so because he created this culture of wide receivers not getting in that mentality of I need to catch the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he created this. He's the one that was out there saying, hey, if you care about your stats, we don't want you here, right? He wants wide receivers that block,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Wide receivers that will that play good special teams, wide receivers that play like a raven, but anything but block or catch, anything but catch the ball, right? He wants those type of wide receivers there, and you could tell because even when they drop the ball, I mean, what's his attitude? I mean, he just sits there just looking stupid. But if you fumble the ball, then you're in the doghouse.
Right.
If you drop passes, yeah, well, whatever.
I just want to point out one more time to Israeli fandom: you are not allowed to call us unprofessional if you do not pay us for our services.
Man,
and
Israeli man,
burn accounts. Be a real man and use your real account.
Israeli, don't you have some genocide to commit or something?
What are you doing over here, man?
Burner account.
Ain't you supposed to be on a Gaza Strip or something?
But one thing I will say about the coaches, Monken, man, like the last 18 weeks or whatever it's been, that that quarterback keeper in the red zone he's scored 4 times on that untouched.
Mm-hmm.
And you choose to go with a pitch to Mark Andrews.
Right.
Like I like the fact that it wasn't none of that was called in the red zone. A little disappointed. But it looked very Greg like to me. But I ain't want to say that. But
He stole it from Kansas City.
That pitch to my man, I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, yo, Lamar, like it's almost like we got too cute this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going into the game, it was all this talk about, let Lamar be Lamar, the media talking about how he's, that play, he's letting them keep it down there, quarterback keeper down by the red zone. So it was like, oh man, they're gonna be expecting this. So, let's get cute and do something different. And it's like, nah, man, stick to what's been working. Obviously, like, look, 4 times untouched. I'm gonna take my chances there with that type of guy back there. So the play calling down in the red zone, especially there, was a little bit iffy to me. That Harbs with his hands on his head when when Linderbaugh snapped the ball, that's gonna be a meme. That is gonna be a future meme.
Definitely.
But man, just all around, man, just goes back to those, a bunch of bonehead plays. And coach, you as a coach, you know what they say: players win the game, coaches losing. So regardless of if it was, bonehead, it was drops. If it was Lindenbaum should have known better. We're gonna point the fingers at the coaches, and they got to be able to eat that, as well as the players got to be able to eat when people are saying, y'all dropped the ball, y'all didn't make enough plays. So it's just what it is. Now we off to London. Let's go. Shit.
Coach, I have a question. Chris, whoever, right? Me and B had this conversation about that play, right? Because Harbaugh said the plan was to kick the field goal, right? So why are you lining up? And I told B, I said, well, you lined up because you try to draw them off sides, and draw sides to first down. But B was right. He's just like, okay, so you get first down. Are you running a play there? Because he said they're planning on kicking the field goal. So if your plan is to kick the field goal from the jump, why are you lining up at all? Why not just kick the field goal?
I know what Linderbaum was trying to do.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the correct thing in that situation. The guy ran to the line and like he was gonna go, and he thought he was over. So his instinct was to hike the ball and get a free play. Lamar was thinking just play with the play clock, and they was gonna then take the time and kick the field goal. He wasn't expecting the ball to be snapped, because I remember saying in the live stream, I don't think Harbaugh knew what was going on, because when they immediately went to him, he was like, "What the?" So I in my mind, I was like, "That wasn't supposed to happen like that." But
why line up at all? Why not just go and kick the field goal?
Because it's just like that. Like if you get, like if let's say if you get the first down, then you could take a shot at the end zone after
Mm.
that, or at least get it. At least attempt to get into the end zone.
Yeah.
And because you still have your timeout. So is it likely? No, but it's
No,
something. It's something that you do. Coaches do every single week.
Right.
just
Every
just
single week.
gain another 5 yards.
And it's like more times than not, usually what happens is the defense usually doesn't jump off sides and usually run the clock down, call a timeout, and you kick the field goal. That's usually
Right.
what happens. But like I said in my tweet, Linderbaum was on that K2, and I don't know what the hell he saw, and he snapped the ball. And I don't expect a dude that's as smart and and talented as Linderbaum to make a decision like that. So I don't know. That was really uncharacteristic from a dude like him.
Once again, miscommunications.
Yeah.
Is what Harbaugh said. Once again.
Well, that was one thing, because normally in those situations you're not snapping the ball. Period. Right? You're looking for them to jump all the way across the line, get the actual encroachment penalty, and then you move forward and all that. But you're not lining up to snap it. So yeah, I don't know why.
Well, his reasoning was he was trying to bleed the clock, and then if they could draw him off, they draw him off. But he didn't want to leave. According to him, he didn't want to leave time for them after the made field goal. My rebuttal to that is, now I get what he was trying to do. My issue is, like, it wasn't like the Steelers was like scaring you offensively at all. So, like, if there was a little bit of time left, like, I'm not really scared of that. Now, if I'm playing the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs,
Right.
now I'm scared. So I'm gonna bleed this clock as much as I can and leave as little time for you. But with the way the Steelers were playing offensively, I wouldn't have been too scared of that. But I get what he was trying to do.
But that goes back to what we had talked about before. They are not they play necessarily, but Harbaugh coach is scared. Time to do what? What do you think Kenny Pickett's going to do with 18 seconds?
What
do you think is going to happen? Tell your safeties to stand back there, and I don't know. It's halftime now, right? Like nothing is going to happen in that scenario. But it's always kind of that, man, I'm afraid of what will happen if, as opposed to just, we're going to go out there and we're going to do what we do and we're going to win the game, playing our game. It's he's kind of a old world coach, and it's time for him to go. Everybody else around the league, except for Carolina, has gone with these younger offensive minds and these younger, more aggressive coaches. And Baltimore is sitting there like, nah, I like Harb's way. I like the guy who doesn't want to score points, doesn't need a running back, even though he wants to run the ball more than anybody else, who wants to, get up in front of the press and not have explanations for things that happen because he doesn't know what's going on his own team. And then even when he does, he's just going to lie about it anyway. Like, it's a bad look. It's bad.
And it seems like as a coach, my bad, Hendo.
There you go.
It seems like as a coaching staff, as a whole, right, and under Harbs, like for the duration that he was here, let's say after the Ray Lewis years, it doesn't seem like we have that dog in us, right? That killer instinct to put our foot on someone's neck and walk into that stadium and say, all right, Lord, this is what we got on the line. Let's blow these cats out and let's get up out of here. Right.
You're one of those dogs that's carried around in the purse now.
And I think coaches, I think that falls on coaches instilling that in their players and inviting that type of environment into the locker room. And, it seems like he wanted that gone with the Pollards and the Rays and the Eds and all of that. So I will say that with his style, it isn't. We seem to be that one team that even when we have a chance to, like we had yesterday, to put our foot on the necks of the teams in the division and take a stranglehold of the division. This ain't the first time we've been in a situation where we could have done this, and it happens like this every time. So, I just think we lack that. And like to your point, B, it could be coaching scared. It could have, coaching not to lose or whatever you want to call it. But I think, man, he does lack that aggression and that instinct to want to bust somebody's ass and just say, let's go, and that's on that does fall on coaching.
And the special teams suck.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Yep. All right then.
I just want to apologize for Hendo's unprofessionalism. We can't be having that. We definitely can't be having that.
There's 2 weeks
so much
in a row.
anger.
We're gonna do better.
Anger man.
Listen, I'll accept my 1 week suspension next week.
Anger man. Rage. Rage.
No, but seriously though, on the coach's point, I don't think I don't think it's anybody saying everything is on the coaches.
No.
Because John Harbaugh's not out there dropping those wide open passes. But to say that there haven't been these lapses with the team over the years and these same issues, reoccurring issues over the years, not just from yesterday's game. This is years of a trend that keeps going on. So that's what people are talking about when they say fire John Harbaugh. They're tired of, these same excuses. You could pull up clips from 2014 and you hear Harb saying the same thing. We got to clean up these mental mistakes. We got to clean. People can be tired of that. Just because you don't agree with it, it doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have to have this opinion. You can be tired of John Harbaugh all you want. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. And I think that's the difference where people are taking one game and say, oh, you want to fire him because of this one game? It's no, because there's a track record of things that have been going on and that have been constant issues with this team. And I think that's where the disconnect comes from, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're 100%. Thanks. You're 100% correct in my opinion. People always want to comment, well, it was just one bad game. No, Harbaugh's been doing these same things since 2008. It's just that the wealth of talent that we've had has masked some of his coaches. What decisions does he make as a coach? He doesn't have any input on offense. He doesn't have any input on defense. And now the only thing that we really need him for is special teams. They're not working well. So all his value to me is gone.
You know what I found out today? I heard on the radio. I don't know how true it is, but they said Harbs is in charge of the clock management. So whenever there's a clock management poo mistake, they say that's Harbs.
Yep.
So that came from Vinny Serrato. Now I don't know how true it is.
Think about this,
Vinny he's in those circles, so he said that's him.
He's well connected.
Wow, the Ravens don't have any talent advantages. That's incredible.
Over the Steelers, over the Colts.
I thought they had one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Now, I mean, granted, they've let the O-line deteriorate. They haven't kept up the running back room, but sure, even if you just say it's the quarterback on offense, they've got advantages over just about everybody in the league on defense.
I mean, I don't know how you watch yesterday's game and say that they shouldn't have won it easily. If you just look at that first quarter, you're like, oh, this is, Lamar's going to be on the bench in the third quarter. The way that this should be going. So they shouldn't. And B just said it, the Colts too. That's another game where you just look at it and you're like, yeah, these games should be won easily by the Ravens.
But the question though, Jeremiah, is if they don't have any talent advantages over anybody, who needs to go?
Right.
Do you think they should fire EDC?
Yep.
Do you think they should fire John Harbaugh? I mean, clearly you don't think they should fire Harbaugh. So do you think the GM should be gone?
Oh, they can always say that.
I want EDC up out of here.
Listen, I have a more important question. When you don't have talent advantages, what advantage do you take advantage of? Coaching.
They don't spend more money or draft high. They just drafted high. They just drafted in the top 15. They took a goddamn safety.
And then pay $70 million for another one.
And listen,
and they said, "Oh wait, Geno Stone's okay."
Right.
That's just the first round. They get 7 picks, and I mean Baltimore has more than 7 picks, right? They don't need to fire anyone, is what you're saying, but they don't have talent advantages over other teams. So the team's not good enough, but it's cool. That's your position. I just want to be clear.
They just need to play better.
They just need to play better with their lack of talent.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thank you for that analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Appreciate it. Hey, I know you're not good enough, but be better.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Hey, you
man.
see Tyreek Hill? Can you just go do that, please?
Yeah, Bateman, just be faster. Why not?
Ooh, cutthroat.
I mean, you no, coach. Come on, like if you wanted it bad enough, you could have blocked TJ Watt.
Yeah, come on.
Duh. No, I don't know why you're coming.
Well, sounds like you don't want it bad enough. All right, well,
I'm blocking
they're not in first place, Jeremiah.
All right, Jeremiah, we'll holler at you next week. I gotta get this activator redone.
Hashtag no 2 hours. Hashtag no 2 hours.
We'll holler at you next week, bro.
Start our close out, Mike. How can the people find you and what you got coming up?
Man, go over there to Open Mic OTR Mike. It's a lot of dust bunnies and stuff over there right now floating around, but it's some old stuff over there too to check out until I can get a new episode to you. And that will be coming eventually. I'm with my brothers over at Deep Cover. It's coming, man. We don't know, but it's coming.
You'll get it when you get it.
You get it when you get it. All right, so just be on the lookout for that. If you have not subscribed already, go ahead and do that, man. And I appreciate you in advance. Follow me on Twitter because I'll never call it X at OTR_Mike. That's where you can talk to me a little more intimately. All right. But if you weird and stuff like that, I just don't follow you back. And that's just what it is. And then follow Ring Kings Podcast, just the best boxing podcast on YouTube. Go over there. We got some content that will be eventually coming over there as well.
We said
if you want your boxing fix,
it's coming.
If you want your boxing fix, go over there. It's just the best there, man. We don't judge you. We help you with things that you don't know about that square circle that we call what do they call the boxing ring? Damn, that's the wrestling ring they call a square circle. But anyway, yeah, go over there and check that out.
Thanks.
Hendo.
Yes, sir. Listen, I want to say I appreciate all of you for coming out and supporting us every week. Make sure you continue because we all have goals. I just put out something on Twitter saying that we got squad goals. Every one of us is trying to reach a milestone, and we need your help to do it. You can reach me at the Rogue Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Anywhere you find your audio platforms, you can find me there. Also, every Tuesday night, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I do a live stream with my man, Mr. Galloway, on Electric Relaxation with Mr. Galloway, talking everything hip-hop, especially old school, because that new school stuff, I don't know what they say. Also, tonight, I just dropped a new episode just a new clip of Game of Tones, where you try to guess the name of the song and what song it is using Game of Thrones references. That's pretty much all I got going on.
Undefeated on that one.
You are 1-2, sir.
I don't believe that's the case.
I think this is gonna blow up.
He was 1-1. He was 1-1 last week.
He was 1-2. He was 1-2.
Oh, actually 3-0. But I mean, the first one was before he really launched it, so I wasn't even counting that one because integrity. But Hendo over here just being a hating ass hater, like Jeremiah said.
Later, haters.
Chris, what Deep Cover got coming up, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I don't know. We might be recording on Wednesday. Actually, no. We might have a special guest on Wednesday for Deep Cover. So if we do that, it'll be out on Thursday, not on Friday. So we might be recording on Wednesday with a very, very special guest. So be on the lookout for that. Follow me at Chris Just Joking on Twitter, OnlyFans. And I started watching Offensive Guards this morning, so I will be putting up something in the near future on offensive guards. If you like fat people.
Nice.
Jose and B.
All right. Yes, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon at patreon.com/LBHT Show. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And like Mikey said, Ring Kings Podcast, we have a date. We have a date for recording. We're going to be putting out some episodes here real soon. So go over to Ring Kings Podcast and subscribe.
Any closing remarks, B?
No.
Hey, I appreciate you guys for coming through. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Go check out the second channel, More Sip Tally. The link to everybody's channel is in the description. And we'll see y'all next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And hopefully we'll have a better report to come through. Hopefully receivers will catch the ball in London, and we'll have a lot more positive aspect. But thank you all, and we'll see you in a week. Support your Ravens content creators. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Later, haters.